I'm going to talk about increases and the fabric implications of doing different ones. I introduce this to beginners just so they have some idea that it matters. And if you've taken a basic class and never went back for more classes, this may be something that confuses you a great deal. Like, why bother to learn all these different kinds of increases? And here's the point in a nutshell. This one on the left, which it's a little hard to see, I did a knit into the front and the back. See this little bar? That's because I used a knit into the front and the back increase. Here, where you see it, it's a much more invisible. That was done as a, where you go into the bar, a lifted bar, as they call it, increase. And you can see it's a much more invisible increase in this stockinette fabric. So this one here, this knit in the front and the back, I'll use that if I want the tailoring detail so that I can see it, or if it's really nice to be able to count the increases. Whereas I would use this one, this would be a much better one if I were, say, doing increases on a sleeve going from the cuff up to the elbow, because I want it to be invisible. I don't want to see little seed stitches, like as they call it, little dots on my sleeve. So it does matter. This one over here was created by a yarn over increase. And a yarn over increase actually makes a hole. It's not very noticeable when you do a yarn over on the row you're doing it, but on the following row, when you come back and knit across or purl across, that's when you'll see the hole. That's why people who are doing things where they haven't moved the strand from the front and their back properly when they're going between knit and purls, and it created what I call an accidental yarn over. It doesn't even look that bad of an error on the row they did it, but on the following row, all of a sudden they'll start seeing holes in their work. And that's because a yarn over gets anchored actually on the second row after it's been made. But yes, once again, this would be lovely if I wanted like a lovely eyelet detail at the shoulder. It would not be lovely if I was, say, doing the dart in the front of a sweater. I wouldn't want holes, leading up to the increases. So the type of increase you use, this one over here, the knit in the front and the back, it's a great one for ribbing, for garter stitch fabric, or if you want to see it. Whereas the other ones that I tend to refer to as make one increases, those are done that are much more invisible in your stockinette type of fabric. And this is the yarn over. So like I said, if you're not sure which one should be used in your particular piece, you might want to play with it on your swatch and make sure that the one you're choosing is actually going to suit your fabric, rather than get a whole piece done and then have to rip it back just for a few increases not being done properly. Oh, one other thing that's a peeve of mine is that you typically do not do an increase or a decrease right here at the edge if you're going to have to do a seam. Usually some patterns don't really explain it. They just assume you know that you will knit the first stitch and then do your decrease or increase. So anyway, that's good to know, because what it does is it makes it very difficult to do a nice, pretty seaming job later. Thank you.